why you might want to compost. One is that just, if you have compost that you can add to your soil, it makes your soil healthier. It feeds all of your soil microbes and fungi that help then to retain water and also feed nutrients to your plants. And so it makes for healthier plants. So not only do you have healthy soils and better water retention in your soil, but you have plants that are actually more able to withstand the stress of drought because they are healthier. There's all sorts of scientific research that shows that soil microbes interact with trees and shrubs and actually support them in not only in pulling nutrients from the soil, but in all sorts of defense and stress for environmental, all sorts of environmental things. So insects attacking them, heat, water stress, all of those things. So basically, by adding compost to your soil, you're making your plants healthier and more able to withstand the stress of drought. The second reason that you might want to do it is it's kind of a free product, right? You don't have to go out and buy something. You're taking materials right from your yard and you're utilizing them and you are turning it into something that's very useful for your landscape. And the third reason is that you're going to reduce the waste stream going to landfills. This is going to be mandated by 2024. All organic waste has to be processed and composted. Some cities are choosing for you to collect that in a separate bin and they'll compost it for you, but you can also compost that on your own. But no longer will you be able to put any sort of organic food waste, yard waste, or any other organic products into your trash after 2024. And that's mainly because those organic products make up about 20% of our landfill, and they are the worst offenders for sending methane back out into the atmosphere and increasing global warming. So they are about 30 times more concentrated in methane gas than other things that are decomposing. So we want to try and make that into compost and other things so we're not filling up our landfill. So for all those reasons, you want to compost. And then how can you use it? You can use it for a variety of different things. You can use it to top off, kind of as a top dressing in your garden or in your beds and add, somewhere a couple inches and make that, about that and make it just something that's increasing the organics in your soil. Compost is basically broken down organic material and it turns it into something that we call humus. And that's a very stable carbon product. So that's what helps with the water retention of your soil. You can also use it for mulch and weed suppression. You can mix it into potting soils as about a 1/3 part of your potting mix if you're doing potted plants. So there's a lot of different resources for using compost. If you have raised beds, it could make up to a half of your raised bed soil. So why go out and buy more expensive, gardening soil if you could add some of your own compost to that mix? I have a couple of examples of compost, and we're going to talk a little bit about slow and hot composting methods here in a minute. But I'll pass this around. This is compost that I made from my yard, and this was a little bit. I'm somewhat of a lazy composter in that I don't have a lot of time at my house, and so but I do turn my compost pile probably once every 2 weeks. So I do a little bit of work on it. So this is one that's been faster composted. And then here's a slow compost. This is an example of slow compost in this one here, where it's just you piled it up somewhere and left it for 6 months or so. So either method is fine. Just realize that the slow composting method doesn't get as warm. And so it usually doesn't kill weed seeds or pathogens that might be harmful to your plants. So you don't want to put diseased plants in there or, plants that have a lot of weed seed on it because it won't kill it. The hot composting method, the warmer composting where you're turning it more often will. So that is helpful.